you say your greatest accomplishment from, just Ruby Hornet exclusively would be?
I think the best accomplishment that we've been able to do is push artists to the forefront of, one, Chicago hip hop, but also show people outside Chicago that there's a wide range of music here. So my biggest accomplishment is seeing someone go from Ruby Hornet to a Complex or a Nah Right or Two Dope Boys, and them saying like, DJ RTC sent me this music, or Ruby Hornet posted this and they put me up on people, and having the artist email me back and saying, thank you, what you're doing is meaningful and has really helped me more than I can say. And seeing someone like Chance the Rapper on a MySpace commercial, and to then go and see in video interviews, or him talking about the first time meeting me and I was the first person to post his music, and seeing that story happen with others, doing a Rockie Fresh mixtape when he's nobody, and him and his manager send me an email like, can you give us some of your time, and seeing that potential, saying like, yeah, definitely, and hosting a mixtape for him is very first that now he signs with Maybach Music. Those are really our biggest accomplishments. All the other stuff that I've been able to do, or meeting such and such artists, are like personal accomplishments that I'll never forget. But the biggest thing I think we were able to do was just shine a light on such a rich music scene here, and help artists with what they're trying to do. And that was my goal from the jump, because I was the Chance the Rapper, or the kids in Save Money. I identify with them so much because they are like me and my group of friends, without the internet, and without affordable cameras, and without affordable recording equipment, without laptops. So to like be able to be a part and say, man, I really dig what you guys are doing, and be able to like help shed light and give them opportunity is, man, I'm really humbled to be in that position.
With all your contributions and helping, expand and almost even make some careers, or jumpstart them in most aspects, it leads me to this question: is with the blogs that you see out there today, what do you think that some blogs, or even most blogs, or just blogs in general, could do in order to better serve the culture like a Ruby Hornet did?
I think it's all up to the people running the site, and I think some blogs make it clear from the jump that they are just going to post the music. They're not active participants. For me, that sense of it was like a sense of responsibility, because I wouldn't be true to myself if I didn't have that aspect. I don't think also you can make an impact in a community if you're not going to be actually in it. Aside from working in music and running sites and DJing and stuff, I spent 2 years teaching in Inglewood right out of school. So I couldn't, and every day I drove through it to get to high school, from Hyde Park to Beverly. So I felt like I'd be denying I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I was just putting up the music and not explaining the context that it's created. I just think more sites, I guess we need more people that are really, I think, from the community, and want that kind of want to do that stuff. But overall, how can we? I don't know. I don't want to say anything crazy, But I think that it really comes from the people. Like I say, someone wrote about Ruby Hornet or me as a gatekeeper one time, and it's just like, my response to that was, I don't consider myself to be that, but if so, that's you. The people gave Ruby Hornet any kind of power. I was gonna write about the music and post it and try to tell as many people as possible that I can, regardless. I'm not the one that checks the site every day and like made it have any kind of weight here. That came from the people liking what we're doing and wanting it to succeed and pushing it up. The power comes from the people. So it's up to the people to demand that same kind of responsibility. If you're a fan of Ruby Hornet, move with me to closed sessions, and the artists we're trying to push out, support the music, come to our events. If you want more Ruby Hornets, make that happen. Support those kind of sites. But blogs that just post music serve a purpose as well. And I think there's also can be something refreshing about a site that is just like, here's the music. I don't want to deal with anything else. I think where the problem is when sites talk about the music in certain ways that devoid it of any meaningful context, or put improper meanings on it. It can treat certain music as a joke when it's the like place where it's being created is anything but funny, And that has to come. The people have to demand that kind of code.
Okay. So you mentioned teaching in Inglewood right out of school.
Yeah.
And you currently teach at Columbia.
Yep.
So what did you feel? Your hip hop background and your experiences growing up in Hyde Park, going to school in Indiana. What did you feel you could bring to a classroom that maybe wasn't there before?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that growing up in Hyde Park just exposed me to so much and so many different kinds of people. When I went and did my first interview to get the job with the school I taught at in CPS, which I think closed or is closing now. But the principal met me and he asked me, why do I want to do this and stuff. And I think the first thing I said to him, well, growing up in Hyde Park, and he was just like, oh, you're from Hyde Park? And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, then like you get it. You know what's happening. And then that was the end of the interview. And I just wanted to show the kids, one, there's very few male teachers, so that was a plus of having a male in the room. And then two, that you don't have to be smart or be cool, you can be the same. And intelligence is the best form of that. And knowledge is king. That's the slogan I repeated throughout. And I knew that hip hop was a language that could be used to reach the kids. Playing a drop I got from Busta Rhymes or Common in my classroom told the students in my class that I was doing something, and it was a way to relate. And that's really the biggest thing, is to just push them forward. If I'm not the best teacher, I can get them to want the will to want to learn more. At Columbia, I think I offer something a little different because those kids have already made it to college, and they don't. I'm not teaching in a school with like 35 kids and 33 textbooks. It's much different tool set. But I think with the kids at Columbia that I teach now, is giving them the reality of what it's like. Kids coming in with their idea of being a music mogul, and me just kind of showing that's I don't even know what that term means. Their ideas of the music industry, and I think I add a real face and show them what it's all about. And then I also have kids. I have some really just great students where all they're looking for is inspiration, and I think that's the best what I can provide at Columbia, and what I wanted to provide in Inglewood too.
But so taking this hip hop approach to your teaching, did you find any difficulties with that? Because I mean, it's unless you're in like a hip hop class, mm-hmm. or some type of what they're going to call it, African American studies or whatever. Mm-hmm. That might be kind of a different way of thinking. Like you said, you're not like a technical teacher. You didn't go to, you know what I mean? Yeah. So did you find any pushback or any from students, faculty, anybody with that approach?
No, I really didn't. I used hip hop as a shared language with the kids. They were fascinated. I mean, all the kids wanted. The first day of school, I passed out a questionnaire and had the kids write down like what they want to be, who their favorite people are, and so many of them wanted to be a rapper, or their favorite person was someone like Lil Wayne. And my first thing was to show them that there were more artists than just what's being on the radio, and that those artists were really pushing boundaries. And I made it a point to bring in artists that inspired me, so that if a student did take home, we would do reading fluency and practice that. So I would just have a song of the week where I'd print out the lyrics, and that would be the thing we read every day for fluency. But if one of them took that home to their parents, and they had the lyrics to a Talib Kweli song or a Mos Def song, and the parents said, who is this Mos Def you're talking about? Where did you learn about him? I had no problem with that fifth grader saying, oh, that's what Mr. Fruchter taught us about in class today. I had no problem with them saying, coming in and seeing a Roots poster in the room. I think that was great. And I actually used hip hop even further to teach psychology and sociology to my students. And after I finished my 2-year Teach for America stint, I wrote a curriculum that was 8 to 12 lessons depending on how it was taught, but each lesson was either sociology or psychology, and the textbook were hip-hop songs and lyrics that we would analyze. And I taught social stratification, self-fulfilling prophecy, self-efficacy, at the same time as reading and writing skills, because these are the things that I saw my students deal with every day, but they don't know that these are the things affecting them. They don't know that this self-fulfilling prophecy is like what they walk into the room with every day, thinking they're going to do terrible on a test, thinking the work is going to be too hard, so they shut down and don't try. But if, so I found that hip-hop lends itself greatly to education, and that's what I found. I think even, like I said, going back to when I found out that this larger culture of hip-hop and the history of it is, it's always been used as a form of self-empowerment, and that's what teaching is. At the end of the day, you're teaching students, no matter if you're teaching a kindergartner how to, the letters of the alphabet, you're teaching a fifth grader how to read and analyze a story, to teaching college kids. Your teaching is about self-empowerment, and that's what hip-hop is ultimately about.